On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Finally, a picture of a drone. Now, they're trying to make it sound like this maybe isn't one of the ones flying around, but it does happen to have a wingspan around 5 feet if you stack this thing long ways. Also interesting, supposedly new technology of this particular model, and it begs a lot of questions, and we're going to speculate a little bit more. I think we've also got some pretty solid information to suggest what is actually happening, but again, it's speculative. I'll share it with you guys, see what you guys think. If you maybe come to the same conclusion, maybe you don't. But we've got a lot going on, a lot of news, a lot of good stuff. Yeah, let's just get into it. How about that? How about that? This is just fun, and I think it's a medication that many people need to take. I'm not saying I'm pro-vax or anything crazy like that, but I actually do think this medication will make a huge difference for a lot of people. And if maybe you're not allergic, you might want to consider it. I don't think many in my audience will need it, but some might. But something to check out. Oh yeah, I pulled it up. Cool.
I used to believe everything I'd see on the news, but that's before I discovered a brain.
A brain is meant for everyday use. Those living with moderate to severe stupidity have seen immediate improvement in common sense with a brain.
I thought the government had my best interests at heart, and then a friend told me about a brain.
Talk to your doctor about what news sources you obey. A brain may also lower your desire to take life-altering advice from celebrities.
Getting lectured about my carbon footprint from people with 3 private jets used to make sense. But thanks to a brain, now I can think for myself every day. When my disregard for 3rd grade biology began to flare up, I knew it was time for a brain.
Do not try a brain if you're allergic to a brain. Common side effects may include accountability, discernment, homeschooling your kids, a better understanding of economics, awareness of the stupidity of socialism, and diarrhea.
For tethering yourself to reality, the only no-brainer is choosing a brain. Ask your doctor if a brain is right for you.
For more information, visit tryabrain.com.
Hit that website, but I am reasonably sure that it points to a porn site or something funny at this point, or may not be a good site to go to, but so I wouldn't necessarily recommend that. Lots try crazy things. New Zealand, giant earthquake. So, of course, prayers out to my Kiwi friends. 7.3 earthquake causes widespread damage in the Pacific island nation of Vanuatu. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. I don't know if that's down in the Christchurch area or not exactly geographically. That's where they had that giant one last time, and I think is the more significantly active region. Nonetheless, yes, big giant earthquake out there, so prayers to our friends living in the underside of the world or way over on the other corner in the flat earth model, whichever you believe or think. Reports from the police in Aurora, Colorado have now confirmed police have arrested 14 individuals that, never existed anyway at all.
Okay, Aurora, Colorado now. This is a live look now. The sun is up there in that state, and police have now detained 14 people and reported armed home invasion. That's the same apartment complex where a lot of people were complaining about the armed Venezuelan gang members roaming the halls. Reports indicate that investigators said that several suspects entered the apartment and had 2 people inside. The suspects then reportedly moved the victims to another apartment complex, or rather another unit on the property where police said they were found threatened and bound. An adult man sustained a non-life-threatening stab wound. At the moment, police say it's unclear if the suspects are connected to the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, but we'll get a live report in Colorado 30 minutes away and bring you the latest on that developing story.
Yeah, so you kind of get the point that, of course, this never happened. They never did that. We haven't confirmed it's Tren de Aragua, but come on now. Of course it is. Please, get out of here. Get out of here, crazy people. It popped into my head. This was a thing I wanted to tell you guys. Music show this week. Doing a show inspired by REO Speedwagon. Got some pretty bitchin' songs pulled. Like I said, I'm going to have a mystery mist show this week. Understand that it's kind of cool, and I'll talk about it when we get back. But when I get back, all said, got a great music show planned for you guys this Friday, and I wanted to give a nice little plug on that one. Oops. I think this was actually the story I was trying to find. Anyway, here, I'm going to play like 3 minutes of this. I think this was what I meant to share. It took a little finding, but I think this was it. I don't see it anywhere else, so I'm pretty sure Anyway, sometimes these stories are tough to put together and put in the right order, and sometimes they're not easy to find without extra work. All said, this is pretty interesting how we've got this undercover video of Joe Biden, the National Security Council advisor, talking about just the sheer ineptitude of the man. And he says he's dead. He doesn't mean it literally, but figuratively. Anyway, here's about 3 minutes-ish of this I'll play.
Well, here's some tea. Joe Biden is like dead. He like can't just say a sentence. He's like really like progressed in his old age. Everybody recognized. I can't believe it wasn't a bigger scandal there. He'll be dead in a year.
Meet Henry Appel, an advisor for the National Security Council. Henry Appel shared that President Biden had called the NSC White House phone while on a foreign trip looking for NSC advisor Jake Sullivan. Henry told the president that, in fact, Mr. Sullivan was not at the White House, but on the same foreign trip as President Biden.
My boss was on an international trip with him, like in Europe or something. The phone rang in the office, and I was like, "Oh, this President Henry." He was like, "He's safe there." He's like, "No, he's traveling with you. He's on the same trip that you are."
In another encounter with President Biden, Henry Appel from the National Security Council revealed a phone call exchange. On the call, Biden was asking for NSC advisor Jake Sullivan. Henry told Biden that Sullivan had left the office for the day. Biden stated he would call Sullivan's personal phone. Instead, Biden called the same office 10 seconds later, asking for Sullivan again.
A couple weeks ago, I was like the last one in the office, and he called from my boss. And so I picked the phone and said, "Hello, Mr. President, like, it's Henry on Jake's phone. He's left for the day, but I can try to get him on the line for you." And he like asked me some questions, and I was like, "I don't know, like, let me get the track him down. So I'll call his Secret Service detail." And it's like, I'll try his like unclassified phone. Like then like 10 seconds later, same phone. I picked it up again. I was like, "Hi again, it's Henry." He was like, "Is Jake there?" And I was like, "No, you called the same office."
Henry Appel stated that President Biden did not understand basic words in meetings at the White House.
Another time my boss went in to brief him, I heard the talking points. I said like, "Oh, this is like a novel phenomenon or something. Like it's new, like it hasn't been done before." My boss said it. I was just like novel? Like what do you mean, like a book? Like what do you mean novel? The true meanings of the word novel, like he was lost them.
Henry even goes on to say, on his dating profile, his greatest strength is, quote, oversharing on the first date.
It's just funny how O'Keefe and how good he's doing is, again, uncovering these people. I love what the dude's doing. And again, American Swiper, if you want to be an American Swiper, not exactly sure what that is, but if that's something that interests you, O'KeefeMediaGroup.com/swiper. It was on the bottom here. I'm kind of covering it now, but I shared it there for a little while. So go back on the video, I don't know, about a minute, two, and you'll see the link on the bottom when I finally take away the rolling stuff. All said, great movement, great results, too. He's doing a phenomenal job, and I'm just glad I was finally able to find the correct story. Here is the media realizing they got beat by Trump in a major way, and he's calling it out. And I like this guy. This guy was like he's a CNN guy, and he's been one of the ones that's really been painfully honest. I don't know. I like him. I like most of the stuff he said. I mean, there's certainly been plenty of things he says that I think are still crazy, but he seems to be one of the most rational on CNN right now.
Donald Trump is smarter than me, you, and all critics. You know why we know? Because he has the White House, the Senate, the House.
Totally agree.
Court, the popular vote. He has a massive media ecosystem bigger than the mainstream built around him and for him, and a religious fervor in a political movement around him. And his best buddy is the richest person in the history of the world, and the most relevant Kennedy is with him. This dude is a phenomenon. He is the most powerful human on earth and in our lifetime. And we're still saying, well, how was this guy? We look like idiots to ordinary.
You're totally right.
Donald.
You also look like an idiot. Who wears rings on their index finger? I'm sure a bunch of you guys do. I'm sorry. Come on. Really? Your index fingers? Really? Ring? All right. Whatever. I mean, it's cool. Whatever. To each his own. Not trying to, 2 men, including a dual Iranian-American citizen, or Iranian, as they prefer to say it. They've been charged with conspiring to export sensitive technology to Iran that was used in a drone attack in Jordan that killed 3 American troops earlier this year. And it injured dozens of other service members, the Justice Department said. Now, so this is a few things, fewfold. One, we're supposed to hate Iran. Remember that. We want to be able to go to war with them. We need to attack their nuclear facilities, which Iran kind of considers their red line, whatever. It might happen, might not. They probably shouldn't have nuclear weapons. But all that said, but the other side of this, too, is it's bringing in that drone thing. Right? Remember the Iranian ship off our coast, alleged, that has just putting drones into our airspace, and we couldn't do anything about it. We couldn't stop them. Oh my God, those drones are so amazing. There's this push for one, us to be scared, because what happens when we're scared and unsure of what's going on, right? When we're unsure of what's happening, we do stupid stuff. We agree to stupid things. We'll believe stupid things. Project Bluebeam, for sure, being partially possible at that point. I don't think they can do it. I don't think they have control of the airwaves that they need. I also don't think, my opinion, we'll see, I don't believe they are going to be able to pull off what they're trying to do. We will get there in a second. I'm not trying to bury the lead. I'm trying to lead to it. They are planning something that's most likely in the dirty bomb arena, and they want to use it to blame most likely Russia, potentially China, whoever it needs be. If the war with Russia is over already and then the Taiwan thing happens, then, they can shift it. But I do believe to a hard extent that's kind of the direction they're wanting to go. We've got some stuff to back this up, but we've got 2 men that were giving away secrets that allowed technology to escape to Iran, and here we are. Now, again, this happened under the Biden administration, by the way. This guy did this during the Biden administration. They have dates in here somewhere. I swear I read something where there were some dates at least. But I want to say it was earlier this year, actually, I want to say. Or last year. But either way, it was recent-ish, recent-esque. Former Harris campaign official. This is kind of an interesting story and really what it leads to and what we understand from it. But they came out and they said that the Harris campaign, they realized that spending any money with the normal mainstream media was stupid. One key reason, by the way, is because they already had them, which is true. Mainstream media was already promoting the cabal's path unanimously, just loudly every day. So there was no need to show up on mainstream media to promote themselves, they were already being promoted incessantly. So they were trying to get into other places. Now, again, they didn't quite realize the power of the power of our community, the power of social media, they call it, but I think it's way larger than that. Trump going into McDonald's created so much noise they couldn't deal with stuff like that. Trump being a garbage man made so much noise they couldn't deal with it. They couldn't. They got hit from so many angles by so much stuff. It was just like a Mike Tyson fight, or the way it should have been. Anyways, maybe not the best. An old Mike Tyson fight, maybe. A Mike Tyson fight of old. The situation at the Washington Post is so dire that 2 candidates to run the paper, Cliff Levy of the New York Times and Meta's Ann Kornbluth, just got to love that last name, she's a former Post editor. Both of them withdrew from consideration for the top newsroom job over the paper's strategy. The Post is scrambling to find a new executive editor. This was once held by Ben Bradley. Obviously, a lot of people stopped reading their stupid rag. This is Jeff Bezos' paper, by the way. And publisher and CEO Will Lewis, well, I guess he was handpicked by Bezos to move the company into a new direction. Well, right now they can't seem to find anybody to come in and do the job. I'm not sure exactly what their direction is. I think it's, I don't know. I have no idea. You would think if they were on board with this whole MAGA idea that they'd probably be like, dude, that's a great idea. We're going to sell a crap ton of papers. So I don't know what Bezos' plan is, but it does seem to be failing. And his own paper did a poor report of Amazon, which wasn't good in any way, shape, or form. So many questions are being thrown about right now and should be. A lot of uncertainty in the world. One thing I think has always been stood out in my mind is, Q post where said gold will destroy the Fed. I think a big part of what's going to happen is sort of in that realm. It's one of the key reasons why I think getting out of their system and getting into something tax-free and penalty-free, legally, all that, right? Like getting out of their system without getting overly punished and then putting it into something that's actually going to benefit me. Precious metals are right on that list right now. They're a great way to protect yourself during economic hard times. I think a lot of people kind of think that we're going to continue in the same vein, and Trump's just going to make everything better, and the stock market's going to get to higher places, and we're going to continue using Federal Reserve notes. And I frankly just don't believe. This is me. This is where I believe. This is not Goldco. I'm a great partner with them. They don't believe the crazy shit that I talk about. But what I can say is these are the reasons why I think precious metals are of solid protection. They're going to protect you from the crazy that's going on in the economic world. The dollar's losing value until Trump, 6 months to a year to a year and a half. I don't know how long it takes him to get that under control. It's one of those things where during this process, during the deep state falling, we don't know. There's a lot of uncertainty. Right now, we see gold and silver spiking. Silver always spikes whenever there's an economic problem. It's in the middle of a spike. It's in the middle, literally, at least from highs we've seen in the past. And gold has been, it's been going up since we decoupled from it, but it's going up in a very, very huge fashion. And it's always taken spikes during hard times, and then it comes down a little, but it's always stayed above where it was before. Gold is a great indicator of actual inflation, and gold is very much spiking and going vertical right now. Things are getting weird. We don't exactly know what's up, but it seems a lot of countries do. And I think we see, if you've been paying attention, the writing on the wall, the deep state's being destroyed. How we do this, and as carefully as possible that we bring down this house, is, there's a lot of moving pieces. So hopefully it's not as bad as we assume, likely, but it's still going to be worse than it needs to be. So let's protect ourselves. Let my good friends at Goldco help you get out of your 401k or your IRA, tax-free, penalty-free. Just move the money sideways into an IRA backed by precious metals. It's physical metals. They're literally put in a trust. You can draw from it. You can continue to invest in it. It is a beautiful vehicle to protect your investment. And that's exactly what you would be doing. Going to drslikesgold.com. drslikesgold.com. Get out of their system. My opinion. Get out of their system before they get out of you. And precious metals are an incredible way to do that. 25% of our buying power has been destroyed just in the 4 years Biden's been in office. 25%. That's a big hit. That's a lot of pluses that you got to get on the stock side to be able to make up for that. drslikesgold.com. drslikesgold.com. Precious metals are spiking right now. Precious metals are always where people put their wealth. Think of pirates running around with their treasure chests. They weren't full of bitcoins. No, matey. Got gold and silver. And some gems and stuff. At least it looks like that on the Disneyland ride. Not sure. drslikesgold.com. drslikesgold.com. Get out of their system before they get out of you. It is an important criteria. Pentagon officials say these are not U.S. military drones, and they are no limits to what there are limits to what the Pentagon can do. So they're saying, well, we'll just play it. What the hell?
A number of senators on all these things. Okay, now we all know what this is on your screen right now because we have been seeing them nonstop. Images that have been taken by people on the ground, a lot of them in New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, that are believed to be drones flying through the sky, and the controversy that surrounds them. New reaction from the Pentagon to widespread reports of drone activity across the country, concerns about perhaps whether there is something nefarious that is being collected or distributed by these drones. In moments, Tom Adams, former FBI supervisory special agent who helped pioneer the Bureau's counter-drone system, excellent expert on this. We'll talk to him in just a moment. First, let's go to Chief National Security Correspondent Jennifer Griffin, reporting live from the Pentagon. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, Martha. Pentagon officials said these are not U.S. military drones, and there are limits to what the Pentagon can do legally unless the drones pose a threat. The Pentagon says 100 of these drone sightings are deemed credible enough to look into. There are 1 million drones right now registered in the United States with the FAA. 8,000 of these drones fly every day and night, according to Pentagon Press Secretary Major General Pat Ryder, who spoke to reporters earlier today. The airspace over Wright-Patterson Air Force Base near Dayton, Ohio, was shut down for 4 hours this weekend due to multiple drone sightings. Friday night into Saturday morning, drones of various sizes were flying around the base. Wright-Patterson is home to the 88th Air Base Wing and central to military aviation development. Quote, today leaders have determined that they did not impact base residents, facilities, or assets. The Air Force is taking all appropriate measures to safeguard our installations and residents.
I want to assure the American public that we in the federal government have deployed additional resources, personnel, technology to assist the New Jersey State Police in addressing the drone sightings. Some of those drone sightings are, in fact, drones. Some are manned aircraft that are commonly mistaken for drones.
In September of 2020,
This drone thing is going to be a very interesting movement that's happening because it's doing so many things. One, it's creating a set of cover, if you will, for any mishaps, but it also blows a lot of the Project Bluebeam stuff because right now in the American public, this is part of the PSYOP, and this is the good part, I guess. Right now in the American public, and that's a bad part, whatever. Right now in the American public, generally speaking, 80% probably for sure, easy. Anything they see in the sky from this point forward, they're going to go, that's a drone. From this point forward. Now, that's got some benefits. Does take away one of the deep state's major weapons that they were and wanted to use. A lot of people now are going to question, unless it's something just insanely and crazy they're painting in the sky. But if it's something that just looks like craft and stuff, they'll be like, it's probably just a drone. And it loses that power. It also keeps people from maybe seeing UFOs, too. I'm not saying maybe we aren't. Who knows? I'm open to the idea, but there's just been way too many sightings over the number of years, way before technology that made drones. Nowadays, different story altogether, but that's going to play a part in that, for sure. And there's going to be a lot of people that are going to try to utilize this to be copycats or create havoc or whatever. And I'm 100% sure there's technologies that the government has that can deal with these. I'm also sure the government's capable of scanning these devices and very quickly establishing what they are. And if they're just generic, regular things that people can buy over the shelf, I don't think they worry too much about it. Because, yeah, you might be able to put a camera on there, but nothing's put outside that's important, please. Especially at any base that's sensitive. If you've got all sorts of other equipment, which you'd be emitting and probably be some other stuff they might be able to tell if you've got specific sensors, right? Like you'd be emitting signals for sure. That's would be very different and would be in a frequency that is very used in military, not typically commercial. Commercials frequency is kind of what the FCC is all about. That we have this small band that we're allowed to use, and then the military and everybody else uses this extended, huge band below and above of what we're allowed to use. And so because of that, most of us are just unaware. So this is doing a lot of things, but I do think it's actually hurting the deep state. I don't think they've got the power to pull off the Bluebeam type thing that they maybe were wanting to take advantage of, and or likely to, that they're not now going to be able to take advantage of this nuclear thing or this fuel or this radioactivity thing that they were maybe going to try to take advantage of. They've lost a lot of abilities. We'll see how it plays out. Obviously, there's some concerns. Getting Trump into office is going to be paramount once Trump's in office, just barely over a month from now. Things will obviously start to change. But right now, he's not in office. Deep State's still in charge and does not want to let go of control. I still wonder how January 20th is going to go. I mean, are they literally going to... I would hope they're not going to lock themselves in office, but it would be funny as hell if they do. That would be weird. It would end poorly. Like, there's no way they win that. New York Police Department, they recover this massive drone. Now, this drone apparently was created by a company, shucky darns. They created by a company in here called Emoji Inc., if you will, if it matters. A sustainable energy startup working on the use of ammonia as a renewable fuel source, including for aerial vehicles. Now, that is one thing that jumped out at me as this. This thing is pretty small. Not a lot of room to carry fuel. Technically, it could carry it in these arms. So who knows? Who knows how they've got this thing positioned? As of the moment, it seems very empty because these guys are lugging it around like it's very lightweight, which you would assume carbon fiber or something to that effect. And lightweight for sure. But big. And this could very easily be one of the things we're seeing in the night skies. Why are they flying it at night? Maybe they don't want them to be visible. That might be part of it. They're harder to see. They've got lights on them, sure, but you can't really see them very well. Two, and again, this particular one, don't know. I don't know what sensors would look like. I would assume anybody that's in the know would very quickly look at this picture and be like, no, this is crap. They're just testing some stuff. There's no real sensor or equipment that should be on there. Does seem to have some sort of odd exhaust pipe that likely heads up, I guess. Not down. Why would it go down? Probably up. So who knows exactly what this is. Now, of course, speculation always. We'll see. Mystery as radioactive shipment goes missing in New Jersey amid drone invasion. Now, this is kind of an interesting piece of equipment that has gone missing. I want to talk about a few things. I mean, I'm not an expert on this. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on this, but just throughout life, conversation, I ask a lot of questions. Whenever anybody ever does anything in my life, like, or talks to me about certain stuff and they are experts, I ask questions like mad. I love finding experts. It's the best. I've learned so much, right? So again, just small amounts of knowledge about a whole crap ton of things, and it's a lot of fun. So we've got this device. It's a medical device, and it's used to calibrate medical scanning accuracy. So you would use these things to basically get things in the right frequency to calibrate, as they would say. It uses germanium. Germanium is radioactive, but it's weakly radioactive, first off. Second off, I think the atomic number is something like 32. I feel like it was in somewhere I was reading, and I don't remember, but it's roughly in that range. It's not like uranium that's significantly bigger than that. 32 means it's actually a reasonably small molecule. And it's really, radioactivity tends to start to happen as the molecules get bigger and bigger, and they just become too hard to hold in all that energy. And so they have decay that occurs, and then it changes it into other stuff, and eventually over time it becomes, something else, lower. It just continues to lower itself. It's interesting how radioactivity works. Germanium 68, so again, used to calibrate these systems. Well, germanium's a funny thing. I mean, first off, it's all over the place, and we're going to talk about that in a second. It's mined heavily here, also Russia, also China. Now, what's also interesting is now we've got a missing nuclear package, and this is out in Europe. Very dangerous radioactive container vanishes on its way to Spanish airport. So all these things are disappearing that have nuclear material in them. Now, here's reading between the lines, in my opinion. This is two separate places right now. They're telling us that they're literally looking for one of these weapons that we hear are floating around. That's honestly what I think is happening. And here's the thing is they're not going to be able to move this stuff. They won't. We will find it. We will see it. Unless you somehow find a way to go underground, but they don't control a lot of that. And there's sensors there, too, for that matter. So this missing packages in two separate places. One's germanium. This one in particular, I don't know if this one... I think it was another thing for medical. International Atomic Energy defines Category 2 on a scale of 1 to 5 as very dangerous for people because the radioactivity carries grave risk. Yeah, so this team of inspectors at the airport to try to find out more information. So it's the same kind of thing. I mean, these things, this is selenium this time. Okay, selenium-75, still not significantly bigger than germanium. 75's the atomic mass, not atomic number. Not that it matters to a lot of you guys, but this one was 68. So these are still reasonably small molecules. Uranium, I forget, but it's pretty big. It's got significantly bigger than that. Now, germanium, I don't know, I didn't look up selenium, but same kind of concept. Germanium's mined all over the place, but heavily in North America. Heavily, like heavily. We like own it. There's so much germanium all over the place. And it apparently exists in a lot of equipment. So these devices, if you got enough of them together, you could probably create a problem. You know, if you blew up, say, a bunch of these like scanner devices or whatever. But the reason that that's almost not likely, and again, a little of this could be used to make a dirty bomb and spread radiation, but it would be weak radiation. So this would be the way you would do terror without really causing damage. So this is something you could do in a populated city, and then if you're a rich person, you go in and buy all the land immediately after the value goes ways down because it's radioactive, but you know it's germanium, and you know the half-life of this stuff is like not that bad, or the actual radiation itself is probably alpha particles. Don't want to get into it, but probably not that bad. So no, it's not a concern, but it could make the mess. It could make the headlines. So you got to wonder, what are they trying to do? Now, I want to point out something that to me makes a lot more sense. And I'm not trying to give advice, but it would work too. And it would probably be cheaper. Smoke detectors. Many people may not know this. This is one of these crazy things. I was talking to somebody that worked in this industry, and he was explaining how they work. And I'm like, what? That's crazy. Or I somehow found a video, whatever the case was. So a lot of smoke detectors work in two different ways. There's two different kinds of smoke detectors typically. There's a photoelectric smoke detector. It's basically a light source inside of it. And if smoke comes in, it diffracts the light, and that's what sets off the alarm. Because the light got all weird, like smoke came in. Ionization smoke detectors. So there's a small bit of radioactivity inside the smoke detector. That's why they have an expiration date, because that thing essentially exhausts itself after a period of time. There's a small piece of radioactivity inside a smoke detector, and it ionizes the air nearby it. And so if any smoke comes into that affects the ionization. That actually causes the circuit to break. So there's two different kinds, but there's the common kind of smoke detector that actually has radioactivity in it. Not dangerous. Most likely, like I said, alpha particles. Alpha particle, a piece of paper could stop it. It's 2 protons, 2 neutrons, right? Yeah, it's like big-ass particle. It's a giant particle. And, you know, beta and there's gamma. Beta is an electron, which causes a charge change, and then the gamma is just energy, which just is interesting nonetheless. So, yeah, we are talking some craziness here. So there's a radioactive spill that's now been reported in the Northeast Ohio nuclear power plant. And what this made me think, and again, it's because I'm in this place right now where I'm like, what would you do if you knew you had to move nuclear material and you knew there was a bunch of drones looking for nuclear material? How could you muddy those waters? You know, like in Arnold Schwarzenegger in, was it Predator, right? Remember when he put mud all over himself, then all of a sudden the Predator guy's infrared stuff didn't work and he could walk around and stuff. Well, this story reminded me of that. Horrible. If there's been a spill, and probably has been, at least 78 gallons of water containing radioactive chemicals were spilled in Perry Nuclear Power Plant in Lake County in 2024. Is this leak still happening? Did this leak cause radioactivity to happen or accumulate in any places where they might be able to easily move radioactive stuff because this would cause weird signals to throw? I don't know. I mean, maybe this is just a weird coincidence, right? And I'm reading into it too much. Totally possible. Totally possible. So we got a public concern has escalated over drones flying in the skies above New Jersey and other eastern coast states. The White House wants Congress to pass legislation that would give greater authority to the federal, state, and local governments to address drones that fly in U.S. airspace. More control now. So obviously, The deep state never missing an opportunity. We need more control. We need more laws. We need more money. That's certainly New York is asking for money. So we see that side of this being played. Again, likely the people that are being hunted, but the ones still trying to capitalize as best as possible. Again, so many things happening, it's kind of a trip. So we'll see where we get. We'll see what happens. Something's up, and they're trying to spin it the best they can. And I think ultimately it's because we're already laying cover. Like, they're screwed. I don't think they're going to be able to pull off what they're trying to do. We're on to them, and the cover story's there, and the network's in place that if anything pops up that looks nefarious or weird in any way, we're going to call it out immediately. Deep state's screwed. I think this is a big check moment. I think we're going to try something. I don't think they're going to be able to pull it off in any way, shape, or form. Biden posts about Sandy Hook, after which he immediately posts about banning assault weapons. This is back in 12/14. He said, I then posted and said that the last time he said this, there was a mass shooting shortly afterwards. Well, golly gee, right after he does this post, we have a mass shooting. We've learned a little bit about this Christian school in Wisconsin, by the way. Also, this kind of is their standard playbook, isn't it? Whenever weird news is coming out, we need a distraction. Those drones could be that too, for that matter. But what is the common theme when bad news is about to break against them? False flags are common theme always when bad news is about to break. Playbook's known. We know what they're going to do, and they're not going to pull it off. Now, Biden calls for assault weapons ban after a handgun attack. We now know that it was a 9mm pistol. The most common pistol probably in the United States, hands down, at least caliber. And what, you're going to get rid of those? Those are about as guaranteed and not assault rifles. They're about as opposite assault rifle. Now, we know they're trying to go after Glock right now because there's some aftermarket part that allows you to make a Glock fully auto. People in Texas probably all have them on their Glocks, right? That's all you need. You can flip through 15 rounds in like, probably 5 seconds. I don't even know how fast they fire. It's probably pretty damn fast. Probably faster than that, I'm sure. But all said, this was not an assault weapon. Yet they do their standard play, their standard call, their standard whatever. Dana Loesch pointed this out. Police say the killer at Abundant Life School was a teenager and used a handgun. Guns are banned on school grounds and have been for 30 years. Juveniles are not allowed to legally buy or carry handguns. No law would have changed this. Now, again, they would be like, well, if there was no guns, then this wouldn't have happened. Well, there'd still be guns in criminals' hands, by the way. That'd still happen. That continues to happen. So, again, one of the things that makes America America is guns are very a part of our culture. They're okay. You might not like them. That's your problem. They are here to stay. They're equalizers. In a lot of situations, most situations, a gun is an equalizer. Or sometimes something that just lays down a defensive path that's, let's not go that direction, we'll go another way, because that seems too difficult. Guns are usually preventative. Yeah, we hear about the extremes, but most of the time, no. Shooter at Abundant Life Christian School in Wisconsin's ID'd as 15-year-old Natalie Samantha Rupna. Now, I guess she went by Samantha. They put it in quotes. It's funny when we see pictures of her, and I'm not trying to be a dick, and nowhere have I seen this yet, but of course the first thing I thought of when I saw her face is almost strikes me as somebody that might have been doing some hormone therapy. Don't know for sure. This is total alleged. I don't know. I'm not saying this is true, and I'm not trying to be a dick. These people lost their daughter, who killed herself, by the way. And again, it makes me always wonder what's going on at home. When we've got an individual that's this jacked up, I believe she had a mother and father at home. How did she get so far off the rails? How did she make these threats online before she actually did what she did, and her parents had no idea? So what's really going on? Was there someone at the school that was helping her into therapies? Like, I don't know. There's a lot of questions. Did she have a shrink? Because that happens frequently too. Doesn't even need to be transgender, but it's very, 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 very strange for a girl to do this. This is very strange for a girl. Girls, will hate you forever and never forget something, but it's rare for them to go to physical violence. That's a very dude-like thing. Chicks don't do that typically. I mean, of course, we're trying to make room for a new age where everybody can do everything. But very uncommon. So she went into, like, I think the library and opened fire. Killed 2 people and herself, pulled the gun on herself, and injured a bunch of people. Thank God she's not a great shot, but she did kill 2 people. I think 2. I don't know. The number keeps moving. 2 and counting herself, 3, I think. I believe 6 more were injured, so 9 total people involved. Rupno used the name Sam and Samantha online, as well as username CrossIxir. Multiple photos of Rupno featured a teen wearing the KMFDM t-shirt. It's a German industrial metal band referenced by one of the Columbine shooters. The identity of the shooter was first revealed on X by Andy No. Online friends of Rupno identified an X account belonging to her in which a photo was posted just minutes before the shooting. Police said they responded to the school shortly before 11 a.m. local time, and a photo was posted to the account at 10:45 a.m. showing a person in a bathroom stall showing the OK hand signal. An account on X called @Petrograd claimed to have access to a Discord chat where Rupno was detailing her mindset and plans. Later, it was revealed that this was part of an earlier draft of her manifesto. The excerpt stated, "Women are the only hope for this wretched world. But even women have been brainwashed by moids. For too long, they've internalized the patriarchy and turned on each other, always begging for a male approval and validation. It's disgusting. I realize the truth. Men are irredeemable. Radfem Hitler was an effing vindicated now. They can't be reformed or redeemed. They are effing scourge upon this earth. The only solution is to totally exterminate them and every foid who worships these effing parasites. Every single male must be wiped out, from babies to the elderly. Only then can women be free to create a new world. I'll be a pioneer. I'll be the first to take the first step." Shooting yourself in the head's probably not the best way to go, but just, I don't know, after the effect it feels not strong enough. "I don't care if they're fathers, brothers, husbands, sons, teachers, police, and especially N-word. Or politicians." I don't know why she felt the need to bring in the N-word. That's strange. "I've been craving to kill them all," she says. "This is my mission. Only when their parasitic sludge has been expunged from the earth is when, then, the world will be clean and women can start over. It's the only way. In approximately 10 minutes, C should be dead." I think she meant I should be dead. "In 10 minutes, I should be dead. It's strange, but it feels good." She wrote this prior, like right before she went running out the door. By the way, you kill all the men. Yeah, there's a little biological problem. No, but I can just decide I'm a man the next morning and be like a worm and hermaphroditically impregnate myself. So Natalie Samantha Rupno arrived in Abundant Life Christian School on Monday morning, and just hours later, she opened fire on the study hall, killing 2, injuring 6, and then turning the gun on herself. Police identified 15-year-old Rupno as the shooter. A law enforcement source told CNN that Rupno had been dealing with problems and expressing some of these writings online, which we just shared. Cops confirmed that the shooter, Rupno, was not on their radar and had no prior interactions the day before. I thought I had a picture of her. Yeah, here's the picture of her. I mean, again, she's a minor, but she's dead, so I guess kind of weird. But she just has all sorts of problems running with her. Kind of, yeah, what can I say? So nervous and fidgety man caught outside Pentagon with a Glock and a selector switch hidden inside his underwear. I don't even know why the underwear part of it's like, okay, but that's where his selector switch was? This is... I mean, anybody with a real serious sense of humor should be running wild with that. Their selector switch is in their underwear? Duh! I just want to use the tip, baby, just the tip, and that's all. That's just the selector switch. No, that's just the selector switch is all that is. Come on now. Don't be like that. Don't be like that. But yeah, Keneal Nagby He was arrested on December 7th for a gun and alleged pot stash. He had, well, apparently 14 pounds of marijuana. I don't even think Snoop could smoke that on a weekend. So I don't know. I think that's a little bit strong amount. Like, this guy sounds like he was doing some serious stuff. And his selector switch in his underwear. I mean, obviously be careful. Biden's calling for a ban on congressional stock trading. And that's the dude's heading his way out. And like, F all, none of you getting rich ever again. Fuck you. Pretty much what he's doing on the way out the door. Biden advisors used insecure pseudonymous Pretty close in those last three. Whatever the hell. That word, P and a S, starting it off. Like, where's this gonna go? Says English speaker in his mind. Pseudoephedrine. Like, where's that even? Anyway, doesn't matter, folks. Stop making me do this. Pseudonymous email account to brief him on sensitive foreign policy. Biden's advisors. They're using insecure emails to pass information to him when he was a vice president. Are we surprised? No. The deep state's been doing this for a long time. So much fun. Oh, it's going to be so much fun. House Oversight Subcommittee is recommending a criminal investigation into Liz Cheney. Bum, bum, bum. Kash Patel talking about it. Let's play this because I love this stuff.
Just like the FBI and the DNC in Russiagate, who lied and withheld information of innocence to a federal judge to unlawfully surveil Donald Trump, Liz Cheney and Cassidy Hutchinson have been caught doing the same thing. We have been testifying for 3 years now, including on your show, grand juries and elsewhere, that Donald Trump ordered 10,000+ National Guardsmen and women days before January 6th. And the one transcript from Tony Ornato, a career Secret Service officer who testified 2 years ago corroborating all of that information to be true, was wormholed by Liz Cheney. It turns out that the lies Cassidy Hutchinson and she produced are the Steele dossier of January 6th, and they used the same modus operandi to deprive the American people of the truth. There needs to be some serious congressional action. Liz Cheney isn't in Congress anymore. Somebody should be subpoenaing her tomorrow to ask her what other information of innocence she withheld, because this was singularly the insurrection exoneration of Donald Trump, and Liz Cheney put it in her nuclear football and tried to bury it.
But where is the information now? Did she destroy documents?
That's the critical question that I hope Congress is answering, because I don't have access to that. So we now know she withheld information of evidence. We are hearing from Chairman Loudermilk's committee that certain things were destroyed. We need to have a full-on forensic examination of cell phones, computers, and laptops, private and government and otherwise, of every staffer and every congressman and woman on that committee to get that answer. Otherwise, we're never going to know the full truth. What else did they withhold? They told us that Bowser and Pelosi actually wanted security. That was another lie that we disproved yet again with this critical testimony. They're the ones that rejected it, and Cheney knew about the rejection and still tried to campaign on a disinformation projection for Donald Trump about he was somehow committing insurrection. So you're right, Maria. We need all of those documents, and I hope Congress subpoenas them immediately.
Oh, it's like my mom used to always say, it's like putting a pudding pop right in the armpit of a goose. Right? You get me? You get me? Yeah, I just made that up right now, and my mom never said that, but right? If you think about it, you understood what I meant. Armpit of a goose. Do they have armpits? Probably. They don't really have arms, but the pits of the wings maybe could be construed as one. Who knows? It's the things I do. DOJ Inspector General says Schiff and Swalwell is behind the Russia hoax leaks. Seriously, Department of Justice, the DOJ Inspector General, really, it's kind of weird how this IG guy has been coming out, because the OIG recently came out with some very damning stuff. 26 FBI agents they found at the Capitol, when the DOJ is like, we didn't find anybody. Nobody showed up. You didn't have anyone there, right? And yes, nobody. Wait. Oh, yeah. No, nobody in there either. No. I don't know why I listened down here. This is where you talk. They're looking at me funny now because I did it wrong. Whatever the case. DOJ Inspector General says he released report. Democrat members of Congress and their staff actively leaked classified materials to the media to push the Russia collusion narrative against President Donald J. Trump during his first term in office. The wrap-up smear, they called that. According to a report, the Federal Bureau of Investigation was aware of the classified leaks and their sources, but failed to pursue the matter adequately. Representatives Adam Schiff and Eric Swalwell were named in the report as having purposefully leaked classified documents to several corporate media outlets. The report states that the whistleblower who served as the Democratic staffer on the congressional committee identifies the two California Democrats to the FBI. Interesting that both of those people come from this joyous state. I mean, I do love it here. I love it. We pay way too much in taxes, and there's a lot of problems here, but it's beautiful. That's all I can say. The whistleblower stated they suspected that the member 1 had previously leaked classified information and that member 2 wanted to influence public opinion via the release of classified information. I'm going to guess member 2 is Schiff, and member 1's the other douchehole. Leaked information, says Swalwell. So, yeah, IG report's not looking good. These guys are, well, probably going to go to jail at some point. By a vote of 131 to 84, Connolly beats AOC in the House oversight race. That's awesome. I don't know, just glad that Ocasio-Cortez didn't win. I like this picture that they chose. I don't know if that's recent or not, but it's just such a... So really, what do you think? It's so beautiful. So beautiful. Yeah, whatever the case is. CBS News, because of course we can trust you. The Electoral College votes to confirm results from the 2024 presidential election today. Here's what you need to know, so don't listen to what they need to know. Ultimately, the vote happens today. This is the one where they lock in the Electoral College, which the Senate, by the way, tried to push through, is pushing through. It's attempting to push through. I think it's like a committee or something that's trying to get this onto the floor for a vote to remove the Electoral College, even though just days ago we had somebody else within their party saying, no, we got to keep the Electoral College and we get rid of the popular vote because, well, Trump won both, so I don't know, whatever. Either way, we still won this. Just saying. Trump supposedly having a meeting with TikTok CEO Shao Chu at the Mar-a-Lago this afternoon. Just in case you were wondering where Mr. Chu was, he's apparently hanging out in Mar-a-Lago. This, by the way, the 19th is when he would officially, they would have to ban TikTok. The 19th of January, to be very specific, which might make more sense now. The day before the 20th, which is the day that Trump takes office. Something to also consider. Trump actually likes him. He's like, nah, I kind of like TikTok. It looks like they might have played a big role in me winning the election. So maybe not so much of a TikTok hater, says Trump, who doesn't like China. Whatever. I wish I could do him better. Maybe one of these days. Maybe it might be time. Maybe I'll get to learn, finally, the ways of the people that can imitate Trump. Because it's easy to do, it seems. Judge rules Trump, at least I remember his name. Someone got really pissed at me recently. That's funny. Judge rules Trump does not have presidential immunity protections in a hush money conviction. Whatever. Okay, this is Mershon Dushan, a.k.a. He doesn't care. He's not going to let Trump drop this. He doesn't think that presidential immunity protects him. I don't know if it does either, but I still think it's a legal fee. So this guy's just ridiculous. And the overvaluing, or which one? I'm probably I'm mixing stuff, but yeah, I think he was the one that had the, right, Mershon, and he let Stormy Daniels, anyway, just the whole thing, whatever. They're just trying to delay it as long as they can. He was the one that got the convictions against him, right, for the illegal fees. Trump called them legal fees because they were paid to a lawyer to handle lawyer shit, but that's okay. Following the rejection of his motion to dismiss his conviction based on immunity claims by Judge Dushan, President Trump labeled the judge as conflicted, corrupt, biased, and incompetent. I think he's trying to force the movement now because of the gag order. So I think Trump is now going after the judge hard because it's like, what are you going to do now? Biatch, essentially. In a quote, in a completely illegal, psychotic order, the deeply conflicted, corrupt, biased, and incompetent acting justice, Juan Dushan, my change, has completely disrespected the United States Supreme Court and its historic decision on immunity. But even without immunity, this illegitimate case is nothing but a rigged hoax. Dushan, me again, who is a radical partisan, wrote an opinion that is knowingly unlawful, goes against our Constitution, and, if allowed to stand, would be the end of the presidency as we know it. Dushan, yes, has so little respect for the Constitution that he is keeping in place an illegal gag order on me your president and president-elect, just so I cannot expose his and his family's disqualifying and illegal conflicts, skating right on the edge. Go ahead, Dushan. Bring it, B-Otch. He continues, I am the only political opponent in American history not allowed to defend myself, a despicable First Amendment violation. Dushan, yes, took the Manhattan DA's witch hunt that, according to all legal scholars, including Jonathan Turley, Eli Honig, Andy McCarthy, Alan Dershowitz, Greg Jarrett, David Rivkin, Elizabeth Price Foley, Katie and Andy Cherkasky, Paul and Gracia, and many others. I feel like you went plenty into the many others already, but beautiful, beautiful job. Is a non-existent case, barred by the statute of limitations, and should have never been brought, and through his fraud and misconduct, gave it a semblance of life, quotes. While deranged Jack Smith is sent packing back to The Hague after losing all of his politically manufactured cases against me, Dushan, yes, it was me again, who is far worse and even more corrupt than Smith in his fight for my hopeless political opponents, just cannot let go of this charade. Is it because of this conflicts and relationships that he keeps breaking the law? This has to stop. It is time to end the lawfare once and for all so we can come together as one nation and make America great. I think he's calling his bluff. Is it because of his conflicts and relations that he keeps breaking the law? I think the call-out's been made. Dushan, I believe Trump says the ball is now in your courts. Dish, dish. I don't think Trump would ever do it as douchey as that, but you get the point. Trump asked judge to advance suit against Bob Woodward. Trying to move it forward. I don't know. I don't want to get into it too much, but there you go. Since President Trump's decisive victory resulting... blah, blah, blah. He's trying to push this forward. Woodward, I don't even care. Yeah, you guys look it up. He's pushing it forward. If it matters, if it's something that you're aware of, guess what? He's pushing it forward. Argentine President Javier Milei, he's accepted President-elect Donald Trump's invitation to attend the inauguration. So he's going to be there with his killer hair and freaking wild-ass sideburns. Love them things, man. Huge sales going on right now at my good friends at twc.health/OTF. That's the wellness company. twc.health/OTF. You get there, you're going to get to this page. 20% discounts on new memberships, plus shipping is free on all orders. Members are saving 15% site-wide on everything, and discounts applied at checkout. They've got some incredible supplements. Spike formula, just for those of you that are worried about any of the spikes floating around and getting you in the middle of the night or whatever. That support formula, actually, it binds to the spike. It's designed to immediately go in there and only connect to it. It makes it easier than it trying to burrow into a cell. So it helps bind it. It helps get it out of your system, essentially. And from there, it gets your spikes out of your body. So if you maybe rolled up your sleeve or know somebody close to you that has, then you might want to consider the Spike Support formula. It's fantastic. They've got all sorts of different bone and joint support, like digestion and sleep aids and everything. Incredible stuff. They've also got some really awesome med kits. Let's call them that. Field emergency kit, it's got like a lot of like important stuff. You ever have to like bug out? This is kind of the emergency kit, like med-wise, you'd want to take with you. First aid emergency kit, they've got a lot of the stuff you'd need for standard first aid. Medical emergency kit, much the same. I think there's antibiotics and all that kind of stuff, right? It's a medical type of, oh, what is it? Oh, you're sick? Okay, we've got something that'll help that. Kids, well, you got an infection, and we got something to put on that. They've got a kids version, they got a travel version, they got a med replenishment. So within 2 years of buying one of these kits, by the way, if you use it, the Contagion kit's the one I always talk about. If you use the kit, then within 2 years, I should say, then you can refill it for a reduced price. Part of the kit price and everything is it's technically you're getting a prescription. You're having a doctor, Dr. Drew Pensky and Dr. McCullough and another wonderful gentleman, doctor, that are all helping create this company. You're essentially getting a legitimate order, prescription, and all of that. They've got virtual care. They've got a lot of really cool memberships. You're getting discounts and all this stuff right now. They're doing a really cool thing. Go to twc.health/OTF. That's twc.health/OTF. Take the matters into your own hand when it comes to our health, because right now we got some people that are trying to work against us. This guy, he got very heavily worked against. Russian Lieutenant General Igor Kirillov. He was one of the people they were saying spreading conspiracy theories. He was the one that talked about the biolabs and having information that proved it. That guy got bombed hard in Moscow. He was blown up. He went to get in his little car or whatever the hell is placed in his scooter, they call it. And he got on his scooter and it went kaboom boom and he went goodbye bye. And yeah, Russia's probably not happy about that. They're probably going to retaliate. We're expecting some sort of response. We'll see how that plays out. So this story, I guess, is getting a little more crazy. This general, the head of Russia's nuclear and biological weapons program, he's also the same guy who was on the video accusing Hunter Biden's company, Rosemont Seneca, of running bioweapons labs in Ukraine. Just as a funny coincidence, because, you know, there's lots of those. Russia positions mysterious blimps on NATO's borders, sparking fears they are part of a new spying operation or could even be a prelude to attack. Of course they are. Duh. Well, not the prelude to attack per se, but spying for sure. And it's like so Russian. It's such a brilliant Russian move. Like the Russian people, and generally over here in the West, do not get credit for some of the shit they come up with. That's just like, duh. Like we'd spend millions of dollars to make a manned aircraft that could fly around. And they could probably scan really well and really far and yada, yada, yada. And accomplish a lot, but we'd spend millions of dollars doing it. Russia would put equipment on a balloon that cost $87.50, and they'd make thousands of them, right? Like for way less money, but still accomplishing much the same, right? Does it have to be as hardcore and awesome? No, that's American. That's how we do things. We make things crazily cool. Right? Favorite example was this NASA pen I was given when I was younger. It could write in a vacuum. It could write on crazy surfaces. It could write underwater. Right? All this good stuff. Right? And then Russia, they use a pencil. So yeah, it's pretty funny. It's just the way we do things differently. Not that one's better or worse. Just one's far more practical, but not better. No. Trudeau considering his options as leader after Freeland quits his cabinet. He's in a bit of a tough place right now. See, his finance minister quit because the finance numbers were horrifically bad. So horrifically bad. It was like, what, $69 million? I guess it's buried somewhere in this story. But they're like $69 billion, sorry, in debt. And what's unique and funny about that is, one, we talked about, remember Trudeau saying that the $100 billion trade deficit that the United States is doing has to stay because otherwise Canada would be broke. Canada's already broke by tune of $69 billion, and they're still raping us $100 billion. Trump's got all sorts of leverage right now. No offense to my Canadian friends. We love you. It's your government that needs to be shamed into submission, and we're working on it. And again, it was all about the polls, right? The three polls are going to kind of run this world from this point forward. We're all one family over here. That's how it's going to be. It should be seen, and it will be seen. We got freedom, though, so y'all probably are better off coming into our realm than us going into your crazy world. No, that's not, because that ain't happening. But, yeah, no, there's plenty of room for you. And we don't have to make you a state. We could make, I don't know, 7 states or whatever. Again, we're going to leave out the Quebecois. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, Quebecois. I'm kidding. I know you guys don't have a sense of humor, but I'm just, it's a joke. It's funny. The great state of Canada is stunned as the finance minister resigns or was fired from her position by Governor Justin Trudeau. He's still calling him governor. Her behavior was totally toxic and not all conducive to making deals which are good for the very unhappy citizens of Canada. She will not be missed. So Trump is hitting your guys' dude hard right now. Kind of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed as much as I do. Justin Trudeau must resign, says Sign. We are calling for Justin Trudeau's resignation, said the NDP leader, Jagmeet Sign, in French. Of course he said it in French. Of course he did. With the end, north, I forget which north, what is NDP? I don't know what that stands for. Is that a party? Oh, probably the party. Whatever. Asked if he would vote no confidence in his government. He said all tools are on the table. Look at that. It's like when they present, like they're going to like torture you. They always bring up a shiny tray with crazy tools, right? Always. And it's always pristine, too. It's rare. It's like one of the cool movies, but it's rare, when it's like all bloody and gross and they can smell it. A couple movies like that. But they pressed and repeated the phrase, all tools are on the table. Canada, you're going through a possible change right now. We'll see if you guys pull it off. I hope you guys do. Dominic LeBlanc, he was sworn in as Trudeau's new finance minister. Here's it, a $61.9 billion deficit. You guys are rocking. And Trump's about to take away another $100 billion. That's going to be rough on a population of what? What are you guys, like 40 million, 43 million even at this point? I don't even know. It used to be 35, but 7 years ago. I have no idea. Maybe with all the illegal immigration that's happened up there, maybe you guys are much, much worse. It's possible. Very possible. This is a fun story. CNN, I don't know who initially posted it. I don't want to blame them. They're posting the truth at this moment. But freed prisoner who said he was a victim of the Assad regime and that he was like locked up. Well, he was actually an intelligence officer. So he's pretending to be a foe or a friend. Well, he was pretending to be a good person when in fact he was not a good person. Hiding in a blanket, hoping not to get caught. Oh, you found me, you found me. I thought we'd hide and seek. No. Oh, knock, knock, nobody come. Yeah. So who knows? Who knows? But yeah, he's not a good guy. He's an intelligence dude. Not good at all. Derek Chauvin wins his right to examine George Floyd autopsy as ex-cop challenges murder conviction. It's kind of interesting. Like if he had a bad heart, and that's what they're going after, a bum ticker, then maybe that's why he died instead of him putting his knee on his, it looked like upper back to me, I'm going to say that, but they always say the neck, but I think it was his upper back. I'd seen video that from a different angle that they really didn't want people to see that definitely showed it wasn't on his neck. It was actually on his like upper back, behind, even below his shoulder blades. It's a good place, like from a mass standpoint, to hold someone down with your body weight with a knee. It's I'm sure a tactic that's taught to police officers. It's just a great way to make. It's very hard to lift somebody from that point. That's all. When you put all your body weight onto that one part of someone's body, like you'd have to be extraordinarily strong to be able to push up out of that. Like, so that's why. Anyway, I don't know what's wrong with me today. And again, tomorrow I'm hoping to get a show in because tomorrow's the potential first part of the missing show. For those of you guys that are sort of, that's 3 times. That's more than I ever do. This is crazy. Don't know. I don't know if this is messed with because, again, anything can be nowadays, but it certainly looks like something legitimate happened. First off, crazy-ass storm. I've seen stuff similar to this, but not. This is pretty crazy how much water is falling from one small area of this cloud. Just keep that in mind because you literally get, that's water that you're seeing just pouring out of the clouds. Literally. But then there's that whole, like, something. They're calling it a UFO. I'm thinking it's more like a laser technology, right? Like if you had a blue roof on your house, you'd be safe kind of technology stuff. Curious what you guys think.
This is wild, and this just happened over Ohio. So this pilot was saying that he was seeing this UFO UAP thing flying around. What he saw, it flew up into the clouds, and he said as soon as it hit the clouds, this is what happened. He doesn't know what the object was. He doesn't know if it blew up. He doesn't know if this was exhaust, but it looks quite crazy. Look at that. It looks like the cloud is catching on fire. And
yeah, very much looks like the cloud's catching on fire. Wild. Don't know. But yeah, so, and you can see it like almost look like a lightning bolt, and then you can see how the rain just coming down at an angle too, which is strange. So something forceful, it seems, came through this cloud. It certainly produced some, like I said, like it seems to bend the light, the rain that comes from it. Check it out.
Some gases. He said that he landed pretty close by in one of those fields, and
right, you see how it goes off to the side like that? It's crazy. I don't know. Whatever. I have no idea. I mean, plasma's crazy in and of itself, but I don't know what the hell that is. But a lot going on, a lot of crazy stuff happening in the world, and folks, look, here's the thing. We're just going to keep going through this. I think we've got to be careful. There's a lot of people that have their mind like exactly what's up already, 100%. I'd be really careful, even for those of you that are like, we're just watching a movie. That's all right, right? No, anything that you got your mind made up on right now, I'd unmake up your mind. Like, open your mind up, because we're going through weird stuff, and we're being psyoped, good and bad right now. Open up our minds, because there's a lot of stuff that I think many of us believe that's probably not totally right, and if you lock your mind in, then you never change it, and we need lots of change right now. So Be fast, be changing fast. That's what needs to happen. The adaptable are going to make it through this. The others won't. And you're here to help most of the other people that are going to be a little slow to adapt. Help keep people's minds open. Lots happening, folks. I love you guys. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.